Hello YouTube, we're back with the Ninja for another video. We're in the back of the parking lot because we're taking some, oh my god, this seat is so hot. Whew. We're in the back of the parking lot taking some thumbnail photos. Thumbnail photos, but let's get right to it. Today's video, we are going to talk about whether or not you should take the MSF course and if it's worth like the $300 that you gotta pay. So, backstory, I took the MSF course when I was learning to ride, and the biggest push for me to take the MSF course honestly was because I didn't like, okay, you have a couple options for getting on a bike. You either take the MSF course and learn how to ride, or you have access to a bike and learn how to ride on that. I don't have access to a bike to learn on that. I did not want to buy a bike to learn to ride on that, because you can get your permit before you take the MSF course, right? So you can get your permit and then ride around, but like, oh, this is a horrible bump. But like I said, I don't have another bike to ride on. I'm not gonna buy one. So I took the MSF course. It was $300, and what's funny is it was actually offered by my, you have a green light, it was actually offered by my local community college, and you can actually take it for credit. You can actually take it for credit, which is kind of nice. It was like worth like 0.5 credits, but I signed up through my local community college and took the course. It was a 3-day course. Every class is going to be different on how long the class is going to be. I had a couple options to finish it in like 2 days or 3 days or 4 days. I chose to finish it in 3 days. My MSF course was taught by a guy who had 30 years of experience. He was super chill, super nice guy, just a genuine guy who cared to teach. I'm sure he wasn't making anything from it, and it was his like only class he was teaching at the campus. But I went there. First day, you fill out some paperwork, you go over some basic stuff, clutch, brake, whatever, what the bike does. Then we went out on the parking lot, and he had hold on people, red right here, don't mind me. The strap for my helmet's fucking being weird. That is a huge dead bug. There we go. We're back. The nice thing about this bike is that you have power to merge, so I still don't want to force it, because there's also a corner up there and I can't keep continuing in this lane because of the debris, so I want to get out of this lane as fast as possible. But anyway, guys, sixth gear. First day we went out, he had a couple bikes. They were all, I think the biggest bike was like a 250. There was a couple 200s or whatever, but the biggest bike was 250. And they had a couple different kinds. So I learned on what is called I think it's called a dual sport. So it had some like very soft suspension. It was some like, I don't even remember, maybe a Yamaha something, I don't remember. I just remember it had really soft suspension. There's a lot of suspension travel. Then there was a couple like cruiser, Suzuki cruiser styles, and there was an old Honda Rebel. Old, I mean like 17, 18 maybe, without the LED headlight. And I just like got the look of the draw because I didn't want to push my way past everybody. So I just took what was left, which was the dual sport. So I took the dual sport, and it was a great, all around a great time. The biggest stressor you're gonna have is worrying about dropping the bike when you're learning, right? You're always gonna be worried about dropping the bike. Now imagine taking that fear out of the equation. Now you don't have to worry about dropping the bike because it doesn't matter if you drop the bike because it's not your bike, it's a school's bike and they're insured and they're gonna fix it. So that was a nice thing, is I didn't have to worry about dropping the bike or damaging the bike. Another nice thing was there's always somebody right there to coach you to make you correct your mistakes. And he's not yelling at you, he's not screaming at you, he's just a nice guy telling you, hey, I don't want you to die, this is what you need to do to lower your chances of dying. And over the next 3 days, we got comfortable with our bikes, comfortable with shifting, comfortable with downshifting. You only hit about 30 miles an hour. We did, emergency brake. We did the exam. We ran the exam course like 8 times before we actually did it. And on like the 9th time, he's like, by the way, that was the exam. Stupid. I was like, why the fuck is our bumper getting so close to me? That's why you gotta watch out for idiot people. I just saw like the corner of my eye, her bumper was just crossing the line. Yeah, because I don't exist, right? But anyway, yeah, it was overall a good time. We took the class. Everybody passed except for one guy who failed because I honestly don't blame him. I mean, I blame him, but like, he also had the dual sport. And when you were doing that like sharp 180 turn, he did it like 8 times fine, and then the 9th time he was about to overshoot it, got scared and dropped the bike. Not a big deal, right? Teacher just made him wait to the end until the rest of us were done, and then let him redo the course over again. That was nice. The teacher even took us out on the side after class, which he didn't have to do, but took us to the workshop and showed us like, hey, this is how you do an oil change, this is what the bike is, this is what a choke is, oh, the Tesla, this is what a carb is. He like showed us a bunch of stuff on the bike, which is super nice. You do have to have your own gear. They tell you to have your own gear. The place I went to said have your own gear, but when we got there, they had a couple helmets to use because they were kind of expensive to have helmets. Because you could just wear like jeans and like a thick shirt, but and gloves. I went ahead and bought all the gear because I don't know, I was just like, when I want to try something, I won't skimp out on what I need to try it. So if I'm gonna be like going on an adventure, I don't skimp out. I make sure I have everything right. When I go camping, I make sure I have every single thing I need. When I go on vacation, when I go swimming, when I'm gonna do an excursion or something different that I'm not used to, I will buy all the necessary gear. Granted, I went to shift it. I went to shift and my foot slipped. But anyway, I was also readjusting my foot while I was doing that. But anyway, yeah, like, granted, I don't wear the gear. I'm not wearing gloves anymore. I'm not wearing anything except for the helmet right now. But when I was first learning, I wore everything. What the fuck? Right? So that was fine. But yeah, I bought all the necessary gear. And it was a good time. Again, like I said, the one stress that you're gonna have is worrying about dropping somebody else's bike and damaging somebody else's bike. Once you take that out of the equation, and you have somebody that's not over your shoulder, but also right next to you to answer any of your questions, hey, I did this wrong, or hey, I noticed you did this. He would always come up to each one of us after we did a little like thing, whatever he wanted us to do. They'd be like, hey, control your braking better. You got in the brakes a little hard. Do this instead. Try this. Damn, burns. Try this instead. Try this. Very nice guy. Genuinely, he wants help, and that's what I feel like a lot of those MSF course guys are gonna do. They're not getting paid a crazy amount to do it. Most of them are doing it because they love to ride, they love bikes, and they want to teach people how to ride bikes safely and not die. So, with that said, I think it's 100% needed, honestly, to take the MSF course. If you have it in your country, if you're in America, you can find it literally anywhere. I do say the one thing you should do. Oh, this is so dirt. Oh god, this dirt's horrible. There's so much dirt right there. I think the one thing you should do is, if you're planning on doing it, sign up ahead of time. MSF courses fill up fast, and if you try to go find one right now, you won't find one for 3 months. So make sure you try to find one in a good amount of time. Oh, they all rust in the same spot. But yeah, if you're planning on taking the MSF course, take it. It's worth it. $300 is worth it. Because what happens if you realize I don't like bikes, or I'm too scared of bikes, or whatever it is? At least you know. And I'm sure any MSF course, if they have different kinds of bikes, will let you try them. I just didn't care. Once I got my dual sport, I was just like, okay, this is mine. I'm not gonna try to take other people's. And he offered us, he's like, hey, if you want to stay after class and ride other bikes, try them. I just was like, yeah, no, it's fine. But if you want to do it, I highly say do it. If you're going to start riding, do it. No reason not to. It's $300. If you're going to get into riding, it's worth it. It's $300 that you're going to spend to ensure your safety and ensure you learn things that you're not really going to know. Like, what are you going to do? Have a buddy teach you how to do it? And that's fine. You might have a buddy teach you. You might be a good teacher, but you're going to have a guy who taught, you know, hundreds, if not thousands of students how to ride, as well as he has, you know, tens of thousands, if not 100,000 miles under his belt. So somebody you can actually take, like, you're gonna have your buddy that does, like, what's it called, rides around in his Ninja going 180 on the highway and is doing wheelies and shit, teach you how. No, you're gonna have a real guy with a ponytail teach you how. That's the thing I rode. Minus the knobby tires. Mine didn't have knobby tires, but it was one of those things with a really thin banana seat, and it kind of hurt my wiener. University of Connecticut. Let's get closer to the Ultima. And just like that, we are home. First gear. There we go. Push this off. There we go. Kickstand down. There we go. Key out. But yeah, highly recommend you take the MSF course. It's $300 some, maybe cheaper, $250. I've seen some places. And you get to ride and learn how to ride somebody else's bike without damaging it. There's so many reasons to take it, and there's honestly, aside from if you really don't have access to a course, that's the only reason I see you not taking one. You're like, oh, I don't have one near me or something. I drove an hour for my course because it was, when I tried to sign up, it was too late. So, for the near ones, so I had to go about an hour out of my way every day, each way, to another city to take the course. But again, totally worth it to me. I have a car, I can drive. The Ultima eats up miles like no other. But if you guys have any questions in the or leave them in the comments, I answer pretty fast. This is the Ninja. Thanks for tuning in, guys.